I think they're recording it now, so that's good. So you're both from Vic, I think, aren't you? Is that true? Yep. And you're going to talk to us today about Te Taiako learning enact, how it enacts Manaaki in a Manaaki New Zealand scholarship program. Okay, over to you, folks. Okay.
Kia ora, Mervyn. So tēnā koutou katoa, ko Kirsten, Reid, aho, and Mervyn's kind of introduced that we're from Te Herenga, Waka, Victoria University of Wellington. So I don't need to do that. I'll just pass over to Lou to introduce herself and our talk.
Kia alofa. My name's Louise Falepau, and I'm a learning advisor with and Kirsten's colleague. This presentation is called Enacting Manaaki in a Scholarship Program. It is about Manaaki as an application of a value stated by our university. It's also the name.
So sorry, Louise, you're quite low, the sound.
Oh.
Could, I don't know if you, I think Mervyn was trying to indicate as well.
Oh, okay.
You were sounding louder before, so maybe it's just...
I started to turn my headphones up, but
is that better? Is that better?
I think so.
Oh, not really.
Oh, I don't know what's going on there.
Oh well.
It's okay. It's not that we can't hear. It's just a bit low. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
All good. Okay, so manaakitanga is one of the values Te Herenga Waka Victoria University of Wellington is committed to, and these also include rangatiratanga, leadership, kaitiakitanga, guardianship and protection, whai mātauranga, intellectual curiosity, the pursuit of knowledge, whanangatanga, sense of belonging, collaboration, and akoranga, reciprocity of teaching and learning between the student and the teacher.
Okay, so can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, okay. So the Manaaki New Zealand Scholarships Program is offered through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, MFAT. Previously, people might have known it as the New Zealand Aid Program, and then it became the New Zealand Scholarships Program. And now Foreign Affairs has put the term Manaaki in it. So the program has students from developing countries, those are including countries from Southeast Asia, from the Pacific, and from African countries as well, to come and study here in New Zealand with the idea that students will enhance their knowledge and skills so that they can contribute to the sustainable development goals in key areas in their home country. And our program at Te Taiako and Wellington University International is to support both undergraduate and postgraduate students as they go through their Manaaki program. So just a brief look at some of the courses that these students are doing. So these are all the courses that we've got for next year. We have a quick look at those. Previously, a lot of our students used to do development studies, which was great when we had those students here. The courses are largely set by the host countries in response to what those countries see as the need. So what we're seeing now is a lot more students doing sciences, climate change science and policy, and environmental sciences. So this is sort of response to current areas of development which are seen as being important. Okay. So along with Wellington University International, I still go to call it Vic International, but it has got a rebrand. But along with WUI, we offer a joint program to welcome and look after our students. And this program begins with the pre-departure information that we send out ahead of the program to welcome the new cohort. And then along with WUI, we do an introduction to Aotearoa culture, to Wellington and to our university. And we also offer a chance for students to connect with each other, with us here at Te Taiako and with Vic International, with WUI, and also with other key people across the university. So they can find out things such as the lecturers, but also find out about extracurricular programs such as the leadership programs and other kinds of things that will be useful to them. And then our sessions at Te Taiako focus very much on the academic study and writing skills, while also attending to the concept of Manaaki within that. And I'm sure everybody here is probably familiar with this term, but we've just put it up there in case maybe there are some people that are not, but just interesting to see this idea of the sort of concept of Manaaki as being a very sort of broad, holistic concept, meaning to support, take care of, give hospitality to, protect, look out for, show respect, generosity, and care for others. So it's a very sort of broad, encompassing term. So just some of the ways in which we enact Manaaki in our program. We host our students to ensure, firstly, that they are welcomed, and then that they feel safe and valued, and that they are culturally warmed. And this was Louise's word here on the slide. And so we had a little bit of chat about that. And the idea of culturally warming here relates to recognising someone's culture in a way that they can see and sort of feel themselves present in that particular space. So this is what we are hoping to do in the Manaaki program, both at the start and throughout the program. We want our relationships with our students to be value-based. And I've got a little quote here from the Te Taiako student guide, which says, "Our service aims to clearly reflect the university's core ethical values of respect, responsibility, fairness, integrity, and empathy." So we look at building those values into our program for our Manaaki students. And we also run, as far as we can, a holistic program, which involves knowing or getting to know our students, recognising their needs, and we'll talk a little bit about the needs later on in the session, providing an accessible service, making sure that we follow up and refer as necessary, while also respecting the students' privacy, autonomy, and choice. And the idea of referring here is making sure that students are just not left to fend for themselves, so looking out for their broader needs. And we also collaborate with other services in the provision of our program, and Louise is going to talk about that in the next slide. Thanks, Lou.
Okay, so figuring out or how to describe the Manaaki program functions, I started out with a triangle to signify the interrelationship between the student, Wellington International, and student learning. But the Manaaki scholarship students are also welcomed and supported by Pasifika Student Support Services, student support services, student halls, and academic staff. So the student interacts with any number of university people throughout their study journey. And so it becomes a prism, not just a triangle. And the strength and the quality of the support we offer relies on a student-centred driven collaboration between all people in that relationship. And we keep the connections going through clear and respectful dialogue with each other. It really helps to understand a little bit of the background of our Manaaki students, a little about where they come from, their country, community and cultural contexts. Some of this is from our own experience in the region, and some from the stories of the students themselves as we get to know them over time. You can get a sense of the context from these two quotes. The first is from a student overcome with emotion when when they saw a lab as part of the campus tour they were on. And the second quote is from a student who was on a tour of the library and in awe at the floors of books and the computer reading and study spaces, having an access to a printer. So Manaakitanga doesn't end with the pre-start program or the official welcome at the start of the scholarship. It continues throughout the student degree program and ends with the completion ceremony. For the undergrads who I work with, this means a customised program offered throughout the year, and to provide monitored and targeted support for any students of concern.
So I've been working with the postgrad Manaaki students for actually over 15 years. So I've been working with this cohort for a long time, and I think have got quite a lot of insight about the needs of our students when they come here to study with us. I've just pulled out some representative things from the insights from learning advisors here at Te Taiako, and also from some of the lecturers who've been working with these students over the years. So, as I mentioned before, our postgrad students come from many different developing countries, and they're often used to being successful in their previous life and careers, and have often had leadership positions, as have many of our undergraduates actually. So when they come to study here, taking on a new identity can actually be really confronting. So becoming that new person and not maybe having the same kind of control and level of expertise as they are used to. Even with the input that they have in our pre-start and in the university's orientation, studying can be overwhelming, and their study skills and academic writing and reading skills might also be a little bit rusty. Adapting to a new learning environment and honing these skills take time. And some of the things that our lecturers have mentioned as being key challenges for our new cohorts have been things such as, these are kind of challenges for all students actually, but they do seem to be typically challenges for our Manaaki students. Things like extracting information from readings and lectures and recording, managing and prioritising the amount of reading, choosing and sticking with assignment topics, so not wasting a lot of time by coming and going, understanding what it means to apply concepts, theories and frameworks, and then demonstrating understanding of the content in a written assignment, and going beyond just describing. So again, common challenges for students, but these are things that we often see concentrated in our group. And the other thing, the last bullet point here, was a quote from a lecturer, which I thought was also quite interesting, that our Manaaki students often need proof that they can make it. So sort of some concrete idea that they are going to get there in the end. Thanks, Lou. So our continued support for our postgrads is fairly much along the lines of the support for the undergraduate students, although there are some postgraduate students that we never see at all. They just come here and they get on with it and they are fine. But for those for whom the whole transition and the journey is a little bit more problematic, we do keep in touch with the Wellington University International team. We share information between learning advisors as required and as appropriate. We offer targeted workshops in response to the need of the different cohorts, and we continue to offer our student learning one-to-one appointments. So any of the Manaaki students is welcome to come and have an appointment here, not just with Louise or with me, but with any of our learning advisors. And any scholarship student who needs support will be accommodated, even if it's just a 10-minute check-in to say, yep, we can sort this and we can make a plan for you for the future. So that's what we offer. Thank you.
So as we know, 2020 saw us all enter a time of uncertainty, and Manaaki scholarship students had been welcomed, oriented, and were in their second week of the trimester when lockdown plans began. So they were given 24 hours to decide whether to return home and put their scholarship on hold or stay in Aotearoa. Almost all decided to stay, and as Kirsten said earlier, we didn't leave them to fend for themselves. We recognised the whole problem. The person worries about the family and their impacts on academic studies and the not knowingness. And we responded to that by collaborating with others and being flexible and accessible, often after hours or off the cuff. Most of the Manaaki students who arrived in the past 3 years have now completed their studies and returned home. So our commitment for 2023 and beyond is to revitalise after such a slump. We're looking forward to welcoming 85 plus students in Feb, to connecting with new students and reconnecting with our current students. Our commitment is to keep working with our students throughout their study journey and to reflect on the program. And so for us, I think, in summary, revitalising, welcoming, connecting and reflecting equals manaakitanga. And so that leads us to the end of our presentation. This is the some of the 2020 cohort and their at their completion ceremony in October. Thanks. Any questions, I suppose, or I know that we're nearly finished for lunchtime, but are there any questions? Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
5 minutes. Yeah. So, what countries particularly would you say that your students come from initially?
Oh, I had the list. I can tell you.
Oh, good.
I can tell you right now. So for this coming year, we have Kiribati, Samoa, Niue, Tonga, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Laos, Solomon Islands, Cambodia, Timor-Leste, Indonesia, Fiji, Vietnam, said all those ones. Did I say Tonga? Vanuatu, Nigeria, the Philippines, Malawi, said all those, Zambia, Myanmar, I think I might have said before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Quite a lot then. That's brilliant. And you're going to get 85, you reckon, in 2023?
As far as we know, as far as we can say, anything is going to happen in 2023. But that's on the list so far. Yeah.
So,
okay.
So 70 of those will be postgraduate students and the rest will be undergrads. And then in trimester 2, we expect quite a number of undergraduate students who are just waiting for their visas through. So,
Right. Oh, that's really good. Okay. So, okay, folks, is anybody else got a sort of a comment or some questions they might like to?
Yeah, I think Julie has a question. I can see her hand.
Okay, yep.
We've got some Manaaki scholars coming as well. We have a much smaller group video. We've got 36 coming this year. And I just had a sort of comment and question as well. We find one of the really big challenges for almost all of them is English language, of course. And so I just thought I'd just give you, let you know what we are offering this year, just finding out how you manage that side of it as well. We've always done, we have a course that runs pretty much all year called English.
Oh, I don't have my microphone down. Could you guys hear me? Sorry. The English Language Support Program, which runs weekly, and people can to try and fit that in and so forth. And I think there's often an intensive before the semester starts. But what we're going to be trialing this year as well is getting them trained up in some assistive technology as part of their orientation week. We haven't done it before. One of them is Otter, the speech-to-text transcription that's powered by AI, so it's much more accurate than some of the old ones. Just thinking, like, for instance, with note-taking, I think it can be so incredibly time-consuming for students to who aren't that, they're being thrown into this English environment, maybe help with that. And also there's another tool called Read and Write Text Help, I think, just that helps with grammar alongside the workshops. Have you guys tried anything like that? And I'm interested. Yeah, we'll be quite interested to see what happens with that this year.
From my experience, sorry, Lou, and I'll let you answer this as well. But from my experience, the language itself has been sort of manageable, but it's been more the critical thinking and the different kind of writing. So moving from doing a government brief or a position paper or something to suddenly having to write a research paper, and also that thing of taking experience actually relating it to sort of theory and sort of wider. That I think has been a bigger concern for us than the actual language. What about you, Lou? What would you say?
Yep, I think it's creating an argument and presenting it in a way that's, structured clearly, and the other, I think, and the skill of referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, we would definitely see that as well. But yeah, oh, that's interesting.
There are some students for whom English language is a problem, but those other things I think need more attention.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I think personally, I've seen that to be true. Well, certainly when students that come to see me, that's certainly the case, not just with international students or students where they've got English as a second language, but also Kiwi students. So the idea, and I think that's just something that people have issues with when they come to dealing with academic writing. But hey, there may be differences, of course. I don't know. Yeah. Any comments about that or more questions?
I might just ask one. If I may.
Yeah, go for it, Michael.
If that's all right. Which was that you mentioned, or one of you mentioned, that the Manaaki scholars often feel the need, feel they need to have proof that they can make it. Can you give any? Can you elaborate on what would constitute proof for them? Like, as words of encouragement enough, or are they looking for something a bit more concrete, like assignments that they get certain marks on, that kind of thing?
Actually, I can answer that question because I know the lecturer that it came from, and I think it came sort of at the end of the COVID thing, when there weren't a cohort of students here who'd almost got to the end, who could actually sort of provide some sort of mentorship or senior advice for the new cohort starting. So I think actually hearing from students that have been through the program, or having a student panel or something like that you could bring in and say, yeah, we were where you are now and you will get there. So I think the proof is better coming from other students rather than some abstract person telling them that it's going to be okay. So I think that's where that comment originated from. Yeah,
good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
Okay, well, thank you so much, folks, Louise and Kirsten. That's really very interesting, yeah. So, and well done with the presentation. Bang on time. It's excellent.